Hello, David and the Coca. This is Joe from Long Island. I'm calling on behalf of maybe the 6.8% of your viewers, as I'm in your age bracket, David. My question is a little different than the ones I've heard recently. It's more of a role play / fill in the blank. So here we go. David Samson, you are the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Fill this in, buddy. In an effort to grow the sport of baseball, your top priorities will be blank. Hope to hear your answers on the air, David. Take care. Bye now.
A nicer office, a bigger apartment, double the security, triple the salary, half the direct reports, twice the trips to Europe to scout locations. Should I keep filling in the blanks? Like a Mad Libs? Let's talk about it for real, though. What would I do to grow the game if I were commissioner? What would I do as commissioner? What would my first thing to do? Were I to replace or somehow follow Rob Manfred? Let me put this aside. There are about 5 people right now who are positioning to become the next commissioner. Make no mistake, it is a race, a political race that is extremely difficult to accomplish. But once you do, you've got one of the best jobs in the world. To be a commissioner of the 4 major sports, and throw in Garber if you want to, throw in Jay Monahan if you want to, although you'd have to throw him out because he's leaving. But to be commissioner of Major League Baseball, there are some serious perks to it, but there's also some serious tourists. Why do I mean there's aggravation? It's because think about the stuff you have to deal with. And I don't mean whether you should take Pete Rose off the permanently ineligible list. I don't mean whether you have to go cut ribbons at certain places because you're making appearances during the All-Star game and the World Series to show that you care about the community, which you likely do because you're trying very hard to grow the game. And to grow the game, you have to get young players playing. And to get young players playing, you have to build fields because not all young players can play in places without fields because they can't necessarily even afford shoes on their feet or clothes on their back. Or you may say to yourself that you want to be commissioner because you like to be driven to work every day. Or you may say you'd like to be commissioner because you like the idea of going and hobnobbing with all of the other people who are thought influencers, financial influencers, and basically strong political people like the president of the United States. That'd be a good reason to be commissioner. Think about what you can do. Oh, you got to deal with the union. Not ideal. You have to deal with human resources issues within your own organization, meaning the commissioner's office, which has a ton of employees. Not ideal. Being a CEO, that's what the commissioner is. You're the CEO of the commissioner's office, and you are the overseer of all the other 30 teams, just not their operation. That seems like a big pain in the neck. You got to choose your consigliaries wisely. You don't want any situation where you're choosing somebody who is not going to be loyal to you. So you got to choose wisely. There's so many responsibilities the commissioner has. You get a list of things you have to do. You get a list of things that people want you to do. Then you give a list of things that you want to do. And then you start talking about everything you need to do. And then you get the call sheet of the owners you need to call that particular day, of the writers you need to call that particular day, of the strategy meetings and sessions you have to have that particular day. And then you say, my God, it's already 8 p.m. This is a day in the life of a commissioner where everyone just assumes that it is all butterflies and unicorns. And the reality is it is a giant pain in the arse to be commissioner. Day in the life of the commissioner. What you're thinking about at all times. You're thinking about labor. You're thinking about safety. You're thinking about how do you get kids into the pipeline. You're thinking about how to get corporate sponsors into the fold. You're thinking about media. If you asked Rob Manfred, the number one thing that he thinks about on a daily basis, it's a pretty easy one. It's the media landscape. It's the ever-changing media landscape. And how do you possibly deal with the reality of a decreased revenue stream from local media? And how do you make it more national? That is the obsession, and it's a daily one.